I was once frustrated by bad race results and no progress in my training until I learnt these 3 easy training hacks that you can implement to hit a new personal best. And you're probably improving the last training hack without even knowing about it. Hi, I'm Connor. I'm a physiotherapist and runner, and I'm in week 5 of my 10-week training block for the Victor Harbour Half Marathon. I've created this training program to improve 3 factors that are often overlooked. I'll reveal each point and show you examples to prove how powerful they are. To start though, I need you to look at your training and find where you're starting to plateau. I'll show you how you can break through this yourself later in the video. Now, to explain this first training hack, we have to go all the way back to the 2006 New York Marathon. It's the year 2006, the New York Marathon, and the ultimate showdown took place over 42.2 kilometers between 2 athletic giants. The first athlete is Lance Armstrong, 7-time Tour de France champion.
Lance Armstrong's a drug champ.
Allegedly. And the other was the current world record holder for the marathon at the time, Paul Tergat. And here we go with the tail of the tape. Both around the same height and both having the same VO2 max. And the gun goes off and Tergat gets out with an early lead. Armstrong looks like he's trying to negative split. Well, that doesn't make sense. Wait, yes it does. Despite these athletes having the same VO2 max, they have vastly different training histories. Running economy basically is how efficient you are at running. It is a very complex concept that represents biomechanical, neuromuscular, metabolic, and cardiovascular impacts on running efficiency. Tim Noakes, author of The Law of Running, described running economy as a multifactorial outcome of vertical motion when running, shock absorption and push-off, biomechanics, technique and type of running, training history, fitness, age, gender, race, clothing, and environmental conditions. So while Lance Armstrong was spending 5 to 6 hours on his bike smashing up the Alpe d'Huez, Paul Tergat was in Kenya clipping off 60-second laps of the track and had been smashing them out for years. And so if you spent your whole life training these muscles for that particular activity, then you're more likely to be way better than someone else who has the same talent or VO2 max as you. So what does this mean for your training plan? You need to be spending more time throughout the week running at or faster than your goal race pace. I do this by spending lots of time each week at half marathon pace, 10k pace, lactate threshold, 5k pace, and even faster. So when you're doing low heart rate training or MAF training or zone 2 training, you're spending so much time at this slow pace that you're eroding your running economy. By the time I get to race day, I'm probably gonna find half marathon pace quite stressful on my body, as it's the highest pace that I've run for my entire training block. If you look at the long runs that I'm doing each fortnight, I'm making sure that I'm spending lots of time at half marathon pace, especially towards the end of my workouts when my legs are already fatigued. Doing these types of epic long run workouts also allows us to work on the second hack. And to understand the second hack, we have to go to the 2022 Berlin Marathon. Eliud Kipchoge is the greatest marathon runner of all time. And at the end of this Berlin Marathon, he would set a new world record. At this moment in time, he is in the hardest and most challenging section of the race. And what is he doing? He's smiling. Keep in mind that right now, his legs are exploding with pain. Why would anyone be smiling in so much pain? Alex Hutchinson summarized the runner's mindset very well in his 2018 book, Endure, when he called the running mindset brain endurance training. He went on to finish his book with a chapter about Eliud Kipchoge and how powerful the smiling is for changing his mindset. What a beast. Mindset is a state of mind that you choose to have in any given moment. So here's a few examples of how I'm changing my mindset to be more like Eliud. I found my why. Why do you run? Have you ever asked yourself that question? It's likely that if you've been running for a long time, this question becomes more and more important as you move from a recreational runner into a serious runner. If you don't have a why that really drives you, it's likely that when you get into those situations like Eliud was in at the end of his marathon, that you're gonna start to mentally fatigue and your motivation is gonna fade and the task that you set out to do is gonna get harder and harder. I'd encourage you all to sit down and remind yourself of why you actually run. For myself, for example, I love the person running makes me. The challenges that you have mentally and physically when out running is the character building exercises that I want to endure, to be the person I want to be, and so that's why I run. When I'm suffering in a workout or a race, I think to myself that this is what I must go through to be the person that I want to become. And so I lean into the pain and I see it as personal growth. Next, you have to learn to be in the moment. Learning to be in the moment is so important for running mindset. If you're thinking about how long you have left or how much you're hurting or the paces that you're running, that can all negatively impact your mindset as you try and find ways to slow down or to quit. When you're running really hard, you should focus on being in the moment. The next step is to build confidence in your training and do hard things. Do things just as hard as race day in training. It's really hard to step into the unknown without physical or mental preparation. When I ran my fastest 5K in my running journey so far of 17:45, I knew exactly what it took to get that result. Because 2 weeks prior, I'd tried and failed. I just wasn't mentally prepared to do what it takes because I hadn't raced in a while. So 2 weeks later, when I tried again, I was mentally prepared for what it would take and I was much more confident in being able to achieve my goal. So how can you replicate this to improve your mindset? On the weekend that just went, I did a 25-kilometer long run in which I did 2 times 8 kilometers at half marathon pace. Now, the way that I structured the workout, I made sure that I was hitting the end of that second 8-kilometer block at the 22nd kilometer so that I could feel what it feels like to be running that fast at the end of a half marathon when my legs are already fatigued. Workouts like that build your running confidence and build a strong running mindset, but they also build the last running hack. Mindset, running economy, and VO2 max all work together to predict your race times. And what's different about these is they can interplay between different runners in a really interesting way. Runner A may have a VO2 max of 70, had been running for 1 year and has minimal race experience. Runner B might have a VO2 max of 60, but had been running for many years and has lots of race and training experience. But both of these runners could achieve the same race time. Athletes who want to improve steadily over time should improve all 3 of these factors and make sure that they're targeting them each week in their training. But before all of this, you need to have a structured training program. So let's take a deeper dive into this training plan. As you can see, it is a fortnightly repeating plan that will increase over the 10-week block to be more specific for dialing in half marathon pace. And so what we can see with this training plan is that I'm attacking my steady running, my half marathon pace, my lactate threshold, my 10K pace, my 5K pace, and my 3K pace and faster throughout the fortnight. A well-rounded plan like this, which is attacking every point, is guaranteed to break through that plateau. So how can you create this plan for yourself? Step 1 is to identify your race goal. Once you've found that race and identified the time frame which you have, you should set a goal time to complete that race in. Step 2 is to run a time trial. It can be over a short distance, like 5 kilometers or so. This is to get an idea of your current fitness. Once you've got this result, what you want to do is plug the result into the VDOT calculator, like this one here, to get a rough outline of what your estimated paces would be that you can then base your training on. Step 3 is to construct your plan. I've put my actual half marathon plan here, and as you can see, each fortnight I'm making sure I'm covering every pace range to ensure that my fitness is improving in every aspect. Step 4 is to schedule races prior to your race day. Just like how I did with my 5K personal best recently, I want you to train your mindset and confidence by scheduling races prior to your goal race. And now you can go and construct this plan yourself and customize it to your goal race. Now, these 3 running hacks and this training plan is not going to help you get through your running plateau, not unless you're doing this.